I'm in your corner, friend. I'm in your corner.
I'm Shelissa. I am a mom of two. I have a 4-year-old boy and a 5-month-old little girl. I want to share and be to moms what I didn't have the first time around with my son. And sort of even with the second one. No pregnancies are the same. None of our journeys are the same. But at the end of the day, we all kind of go through the same thing. I am a small business owner as well. I started my own business when I had my son, which was pretty crazy, starting a business and having your first kid. But I made it through. And on my free time, I'm just that crafty mom that just likes to do everything hands-on, handmade.
What made you create a business as a new mom?
With my son, I went through a really rough postpartum. I don't want to say hard postpartum, but a rough postpartum. It took 18 months before we found out, or before a physical diagnosis of postpartum anxiety with him. So throughout that whole time, I just kind of lost who I was, super engulfed in my son, which was a small balance of like a blurred line between first-time mom and feeling like something was wrong. And it wasn't until the diagnosis, going through therapy, they were like, find something that's you, find something that you love. And I was like, I've been trying, because I love to do, my home decor. I love to create things, anything DIY, activities with him, anything. And I was like, none of that is fun. Nothing is fun. And she's like, I'm going to challenge you. Every evening, do something that's for you. And that's kind of where I said, I like DIY. I like to create. So I bought craft supplies. I bought a Cricut. I bought all these things. And I was like, I'm going to try. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do it. And it was homework, and it was a mindful time to have self-care. But then I slowly found liking to craft again. And then we got into COVID. And that was me helping other moms. That was like what do we do? The parades, the drive-by parades, and the shirts, and everything was virtual. And that was the only thing to do, was like wear a shirt that says it's my birthday on the Zoom calls. So I would help moms do that. What can I do to, decorate, to make the Zoom look pretty? And I would make little things to do it. And then my husband was like, make this into the thing. This is what's getting you excited again. This is what's doing. And that allowed me to contribute a little bit of income towards the family. So I started to feel like me again. And I started to feel like I'm a piece of the family and a puzzle and bringing home income and doing things. The balance was the hard part, because there's wait till everybody goes to sleep so I can craft, but where do I sleep? Because now I'm engulfed in crafting and doing this whole fun thing. It took a while to find, do I sleep or do I craft? Because now I'm finding me and I'm finding this thing to do, but now it's like unhealthy. I'm just like, well, they said to do this because this is for me and I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna do it. And then you're just like wired.
So how has that transition been a little bit now, still incorporating your business with 2 kids?
I am still learning. I joke about it with friends where, you're like, this is my second kid. I know what I'm doing. How hard can it be? How hard can it be to just add another one doing the same thing of what I did for the first one? It's not the same. That's a secret. It's not the same. It kind of like hurts me to say the word hard, because it's not hard, because we all can do it. And I hate using the word hard because it makes other people feel like, well, then I can't do that. It's a learning curve, and it's something that you've had to figure out, but it's just like anything else that we have to figure out in life. And like you said, it's trials. It's trying it. Okay, that's not going to work. It's me saying, I'm going to work when she's at a nap because my son is at school. And during nap, I'm like, I'm asleep too. And I can't beat up myself for that. And that's the hard part of it, is the guilt and beating yourself up when you have to find that balance.
So how can you describe both of your pregnancies and your postpartum, and like how do they compare and how do they differ?
So with my son, I had a very big injury. At just going into 7 months, I actually fell down the stairs. and I broke my foot in about 7 places. So I was in bed rest straight through for the rest of my pregnancy with him. Had to stop working, had to stop just everything. So that alone created this, like, this isn't fun. We all have this idea of what our pregnancy is going to be. It was summer months. I'm supposed to be in my maxi dresses. I'm supposed to be out there with my bump. I was in my husband and my dad's like basketball shorts and t-shirts the whole way through on the bed, needing to call people to just do the smallest movement, to do everything because I had a cast and crutches and a big belly. So that pregnancy by itself was like, I felt, I don't want to say cheated out of it, because I still had my moments with me and my baby. I still, it was me and my bump no matter what. But I just felt cheated out of the glamour and the fun of the pregnancy side of things. Then again, not knowing what the postpartum journey would be like, and just thinking, I'm a first-time mom, I'm very particular, I need to loosen my reins to stop being so uptight. And then it took 18, 19 months into realizing, like, no, this is a problem. This isn't me and structure and what I have postpartum anxiety, and accepting medication to help me and to assist me to get back to feeling normal. To my second pregnancy, thinking, oh, well, we're just going to get pregnant again, just easy. It took 2 years to get pregnant. We did have to go through IVF to get her that time around. So even that became now I'm pregnant, but now I'm just like, this was work to get this baby. And that this is a different kind of accepting and loving. And then I was super sick. So again, there went my being glamorous and being everything. You think like, oh, okay, you know what? I know how to deal with this. I'm going to count my weeks. My morning sickness is going to be gone. No, I had morning sickness straight through. And now in the postpartum, I am a lot more aware. I'm a lot more ahead of my feelings. I'm a lot more ahead of my environment into things. So I think I tried to think about like one word to describe the two, and it sounds cliche, of education, because of course, once you've had the experience, you should know different. But I learned so many things after the fact with my son. We learned, I had a hard time breastfeeding him in the beginning, and we worked through it, and I breastfed him for 18 months. We learned after the fact that it was a tongue tie and a lip tie and this and that. As soon as I had problems with my daughter breastfeeding, I was like, ding, 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 it can be these things. And we found it much earlier, and she got the help. I'm exclusively pumping this time as opposed to being able to breastfeed. So there's things, and again, that comes with education. I have lactation help this time as opposed to fighting and figuring it out myself the first time. So they differ a lot, but there's kind of everything that it still aligns into the education, the experience, and just, better, you do better kind of thing.
Overall, like so far, like what are you most proud of?
There's obviously a multitude of things when you really try to hone in on a certain thing. But I think my strength or my resilience into things, because who we are before we become moms or wives or just of a certain age, we're like, oh, when this happens, this is how I would react. And if that happens, this is how I would react. And I don't have time for this, and I don't have time for that. But when you get into this motherhood, like, you really learn to slow down and go through the motions of something to find, like I said, the lesson of something, to find your power, your strength, to get to the end of something. Like, giving up is not an option in motherhood. Giving up is not an option in your marriage, in just, you got to figure it out. You're sick, you got to figure it out. You're tired, you got to figure it out. You're hurt, you got to figure it out. So it's just that strength. Like, you truly don't know your strength until you have to tap into it. And I think all those experiences, I have found, like, I think of Mario, like another level.
What is something from your childhood you did or didn't have to do that is important to you for carry on to your children?
Growing up, I remember Christmas. I remember birthdays like vividly, like if it was yesterday. Those were like the family comes together, the house is done up. Like we took those things very seriously. And because of my artsy and craftsy, I'm super extra. Like I'm not cut your sandwich into dinosaurs extra. I'm like dinosaur prints on the floor, all over the walls, like streamers. You're going to wake up and know today is your birthday. But I want my kids to feel the celebration and remember the celebration, remember the times that it's just about them, especially in today's world. You got to just know who you are and be confident in you and know you're loved and just all the feels. So that's important. But in a motherhood side of things too, it's the communication with my kids. Having a two-way street, saying I'm sorry to my kid, letting him know that, you know, you're probably 4, but your opinion matters, your feelings matter. And if something's bothering you, come talk to me. If something's bothering me, I talk to him about it too. You know, he's like, Mom, you hurt my feelings when you yelled at me. Well, you hurt my feelings when you weren't listening. It took me to yell for you to listen. Did you realize that? And we talk through a situation. We all have our faults, but it's how we bring it back in. And I never want him to feel just, you know, I got to do it mom's way because mine's not right, because I want him to grow up to feel confident in his feelings, his opinion, and in his voice. I'm Shelissa, and I am here because I fully support a sisterhood within motherhood. Like, we have to know that we're not alone. We talk so much about the fun parts. We talk so much about the glamorous belly and the love as soon as we held on to our babies. We don't want to scare other moms, but it's out of support in sharing the true sides or the unspoken side of motherhood. And that alone can be scary when you go through it because nobody else talks about it. So I want to talk about it in a positive light because it's not scary. You can see the other side of it.
Where can we find you?
At Shasha008 and at It's So Johnson Design.
And I'm never gonna let you down.